What up YouTube, it's Missouri's Company. In this video, I want to talk about some of the brand new meta builds that are very likely coming to Diablo Immortal literally in the next couple days with this massive update. I say the most meta builds because if you review these legendary items or gear that's coming to the game, they are playing to a lot of the strengths of most of these classes, and for some of them, which I cannot wait to cover, are covering potentially brand new meta classes or changes that could be just changing the whole game for some of these classes. We're going to cover all of that and so much more in this video, so make sure you watch it to the very end because you're not going to miss any of the legendary items and some of the builds that I think and how they're going to benefit and how I think they'll play out. We're going to cover all of that in this video right now. So again, our video yesterday, we covered all of the patch notes that are coming in this update, but in this video, I want to take the time to read all the legendary items and how I think they're going to aid either in a positive way or a negative way in the most meta build for these classes. So let's jump straight into it. As a reminder, these legendary items will only be available at Hell difficulty 6 or higher. Keep that in mind. First one up is the Barbarian. So Bitter Wind, main hand, Whirlwind now draws on the power of the wind to deal increased damage while no longer reducing your movement speed. So this one is definitely going to be changing out. I forgot the name of it, but I did cover it in my Barbarian build video, which will be coming out very soon. The main hand that I was using for the Barbarian that a lot of people also recommend basically increases the range of your Whirlwind, but makes you slower. So now this main hand increases the power of the Whirlwind, smaller the normal radius, but no longer reduces your movement speed. I think this is going to be the new main hand for the Whirlwind build. Horns of Haraggraf. During Wrath of the Berserker, slaying enemies increases your damage dealt by 1% for 6 seconds, up to a maximum of 10%. Wrath of Berserker is a very, very good and massive cooldown. I think this is going to be very, very good. I think that, though, you get rid of the duration benefit, but I do think the overall damage will be better. So the shoulders is Wrath of the Berserker also grants you a shield that absorbs damage. Again, okay, maybe. Chest, Whirlwind damage increased by 10% for each bleed on the enemy, up to a maximum of 30%. So increases damage by 10% for each bleed. I only know of one bleed that I only know of one bleed that it does to that the Barbarian has, and that's their their main auto attack. But that's interesting. I'm trying to think. I don't know of any other ones though. So moving on to the pants, Furious Charge now causes you to drag enemies with you, but its maximum charges are now 2 instead of 3. It's okay. Nothing crazy there. I think there's better pants you could use for this build. And then offhand, Wrath of the Berserker now causes nearby enemies to burn. That's where I also hesitate because there is, I guess, legendary gear and items that can do damage over time, but this one says only for bleed. So I'm wondering if that is truly only bleeds or if it's damage over time like dots, which was what damage over time stands for, or short is dot. So that'll be interesting. And then the developer notes is these new legendary items are meant to help the Barbarian focus on Wrath of the Berserker and Whirlwind while leaning on existing bleed attacks to increase your damage further. Again, oh, Cleave also. So there's at least 2 bleeds. So you could do Whirlwind, Cleave, Wrath of the Berserker, your auto one that also does the bleed, and then you could do like Sprint if you wanted to, or Furious Charge if you want to use all these. So I think this will be the new meta build for Barbarians, which is kind of crazy that basically to get the potentially best build for the Barbarian now, you have to get all brand new legendaries. Sorry, but I do think this is a very increased damage build for the Barbarian. So that is very interesting. Unfortunate, I just got done making my Barbarian builds. Crusader, who I'm on currently, which I would likely be benefiting from these legendaries first. Let's see what these have. So I'm not even going to try to say all these names. I'm just going to say what they are. So Chest, Condemn now fills your soul with Valor's Retribution for 6 seconds, causing every primary attack to unleash a lightning bolt at your target, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. That one's really good. It sounds like, I mean, basically your primary attack should be doing more damage, which is huge. For how long though? 6 seconds. So yeah, that's not bad. Wonder how long. I'm assuming the cooldown is probably 25 or 30 seconds, which is kind of rough, but yeah, not bad. So shoulders, falling sword damage increased by 10%. That's pretty low. All right, so the next one is the head, which is shield charge, also grants you 10% increased damage for 3 seconds. Okay, some usable, that could be usable. Condemn also unleashes bright light that blinds enemies for 1 second. Meh. Condemn deals 10% increased damage for each harmful effect the enemy suffers from. Okay, that makes more sense. So blind would be a harmful effect to a maximum of 30%. But again, it's only 1 second they have that blind in that other offhand. So interesting. Main hand, Sacred Fire now ignites enemies, burning them over 2 seconds. Okay. For the Crusader, these legendary items are focused on condemn and empowering your primary attacks, which is good. I mean, really, in my opinion, the best build for the Crusader is a buffing to your teammates build and then doing damage with your auto attack. So the fact that you're getting more damage from, condemn and then your primary attacks means you can get all buffing stuff for the rest of the build, which is pretty beneficial. Demon Hunter, this one was pretty unique. In terms of being meta or not, I think this will be it improves the quality of life and overall damage output of the Barbarian or the Crusader while not making it meta, because you're still using the majority, I think, of your other skills and or legendary items that you have available to you, but you're definitely going to prioritize some of these ones that do increase, like this chest one. I think would be a very, very good one. That might be the best that I have seen so far, but I also don't know the Crusader the most yet. I just transferred to it, so we'll see. Moving on to Demon Hunter, like I said. So the head Daring Swing also increases your movement speed by 30%. That's a very big movement speed increase for 3 seconds. That's not a long time. That could be interesting. Some viability there, maybe. So for the pants, Knife Trap now places more durable traps that trigger when you take damage. Interesting. I've never used Knife Trap. I mean, I know what it is, obviously, but I don't use it. So it'll be interesting to use it if that's what they're going for here. Offhand, after using Knockback Shot, your damage is increased by 10% for 3 seconds. Okay. Interesting. 10% is not a lot, but maybe it is. We'll see. Impale can now be charged, allowing you to throw multiple knives at once. Interesting. Knockback Shot now fires an arrow that immobilizes enemies. Okay. So Knife Trap now deals 20, and this is a shoulder, now deals 20% increased damage to enemies suffering loss of control. Okay, that makes sense. So really what they want you to do is charge up a Impale, do a knockback shot into a trap, essentially, is what it seems like that build would be, which feels very cause and effect, which overall is less effective from what it sounds like, before we even get our hands on it, at least, than I think the other better builds are for Demon Hunter. So while I don't think this one will be meta, I think it'll be a unique, interesting option for people to try out. So for the Demon Hunter, the focus is utilizing Knife Trap and Knockback Shot for a 1-2 combo while gaining additional movement utility through Daring Swing. Yeah, so basically exactly like I said. I don't think this will be the highest damage output, but it could be an interesting sort of combination of moves there. So we'll see. So the Monk. I just got off the Monk somewhat recently. Monk is in a very, very good spot. Let's see what they did. So the main hand, Deadly Reach, now also has a 25% chance to make enemies vulnerable, increasing damage taken by 10% for 2 seconds. That could be good. Mystic Strike, Shoulders, Mystic Strike also causes your next skill used within 4 seconds to deal 30% increased damage. That's very good. Mystic Strike too? Wow. That's that is very surprising that they were gonna buff that. Okay. I mean, that's gonna be really good. Mystic Strike now conjures a spirit ally to charge forward, dealing and slowing enemies in its path. Those are pants. Chest, Wave Strike now deals 20% increased damage to enemies suffering loss of control. Okay. Head, Mystic Ally's duration is now increased by 0.4 seconds after defeating an enemy, up to a maximum of 4 seconds. Oh, okay. So, maybe. That's good for farming, I would say, really, or dungeons-ish. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the headpiece. So offhand, Wave Strike now instantly unleashes a large blast of energy that damages enemies within the area. Yeah, Wave Strike. I don't know. Okay, so for the Monk, the focus is on utilizing Mystic Strike to create moments of bonus damage that can be followed up with abilities such as Wave Strike. It definitely gives a burstier window, but the Monk already had a pretty bursty build. So this, I think, really is just going to make it even stronger with the Mystic Strike, because I mean, there's a few different combos you can do to just get a ton of damage really, really quickly, and then just blow someone up. So that, that sounds very appealing to me to want to play again. So interesting. Necromancer. Shoulders, Skeletal Mage damage is increased by 5% each time they defeat an enemy, up to a maximum of 30%. Okay, could be okay. So with that, though, you would lose your double skeleton mages, which is what most people run. So you're losing 50% of the damage at a gain for upwards of 30% damage. So no. That's how I would look at that. And that's assuming total uptime. You would be offsetting your mages there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking no for that one. Let me know if I'm wrong, though, for any of these. These are just my opinion. And again, I don't think I'm going over the ones that I think are also going to be meta or, and if you don't know what meta means, it's the most efficient thing available. So that's what it stands for. So Bone Wall, it's chest piece. Bone Wall now places a larger ethereal wall that continually damages enemies within and reduces their movement speed. Okay, interesting. Main hand, Grim Scythe now slices enemies in front of you several times with the final swing inflicting a bleed. That sounds very, very good. Grim Scythe needed a buff, so that could be a good one there. Head, your command golem is now linked to you, equally splitting the duration of harmful effects between the both of you. That feels like a waste, in my opinion. I feel like there's better options at the head level for Necro. Pants, Grim Scythe now triggers all continued damage on the target it hits. Triggers all continual damage, causing them to instantly take the remaining damage. Oh, wow. So you put a bunch of dots on them, and then this one with the pants makes it so Grim Scythe will basically apply all the dots immediately, but then also if you tether that with the main hand, then after the Grim Scythe is used, you're then applying more dots with the bleed. That seems like a really good combo in my opinion. The offhand, which is a shield, obviously. Soulfire now has a 25% chance to explode on hit, dealing damage to nearby enemies and causing them to burn. Another dot. I like this build a lot. This seems like a very good option for instead of doing a summon build, you're doing a more damage over time build. One of my alts is a Necro, and I'm definitely going to make this build because this seems like a pretty decent option. So developers' notes for the Necromancer then focuses on using the Grim Scythe to manipulate damage over time effects and concentrating your damage into a single powerful hit, which is exactly what they're doing. So the Wizard, this is the one I was the most excited about because it dramatically changes how the Wizard has operated up until this point. So this one I am literally the most excited about. I want to basically stop working my Crusader and going back to my main as the Wizard and just focusing in on this build because it looks like it's going to be so much fun. But let's go ahead and cover it right now. So first things first, the offhand. So keep in mind this would remove your burst of speed from your Lightning Nova, which is what a lot of mages use. So Electrocute also increases your primary attack speed by 6% for 2 seconds, stacking up to a maximum of 5 times. Electrocute is that your primary attack, so your primary attack increases your primary attack speed by 6% for 2 seconds. Interesting idea there, basically making an auto attack build for the Wizard. And keep in mind the Electrocute one, especially with the main hand, will make it so that your Electrocute bounces to more enemies. It bounces to, I think, 2 or 3, and then it increases the number by a couple more. All right, so the head, and this one is, I think, probably going to be one of the best ones. Teleport also increases your damage by 10% for 3 seconds. Now, I know on several of the other ones that I felt like the 10% was a very low amount of damage increase, which it is, but you typically have 3 teleports available, so you could do some pretty serious windows of damage really, really quickly. And for 3 seconds, which is better than some of the other ones that were like 1 second, 2 seconds. So not bad, but a very good option in my opinion. Shoulders, Ice Armor also causes your primary attacks to decrease enemy movement speed by 40% for 3 seconds. Interesting. So Ice Armor is going to give you a little bit of a shield and now also make it so your enemies move slower, making so that you can hit them more. 40% movement speed reduction is massive too. It's almost half, obviously, for 3 seconds, which is a pretty long time. So the pants are the one like for this build that I'm just not interested in like at all. Arcane Torrent also fires tracking missiles that seek out enemies dealing damage. No excitement there for me. The staff, which again, so you would have to choose either this one or the one that makes Electrocute bounce to more people. So keep that in mind. This one is Lightning Nova and also increases your primary attack speed by 30% for 3 seconds. So you either make it bounce to more people, or you increase your attack speed by 30% for 3 seconds. And Lightning Nova has a pretty low cooldown, so that's interesting. I think I would actually recommend this one because it now makes it so your Lightning Nova or your primary attacks with the Electrocute would basically be doing more damage to single targets and smaller multi-targets than doing more damage to more targets, which then in turn would make you do more damage to multi-targets because you're doing it more often. We'd have to test that. I don't know, but that seems like it'd be good, in my opinion. Last but not least, the chest. So Lightning Nova now conjures a lightning orb that orbits around you, firing chain lightning at your target when you use your primary attacks. Heck yeah. This one is phenomenal. So this lightning build for the wizard seems so cool. I cannot wait to get all these legendaries and grind them, because this build feels like it would be good for most things. Maybe not PvP, maybe, I don't know. I mean, if it definitely feels like it'd be good in dungeons, be good in farming for sure. Could be good in raids, maybe even too. Because, yeah, you're doing your primary tech more often. Yeah, very, very interesting. Cannot wait to get my hands on that build. It looks sick. All right, so that's going to do it for this build video. I do think that at least 3 or 4 of these new legendary sets will be the most meta for some of these classes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And until next time, guys, lock it in.